What's going on, guys? It's your boy Chris here. I wasn't gonna do a video this week. For those who don't know, my grandmother, on my mom's side, passed away on Sunday night. So I really wasn't at the right place to do anything. I kind of been taking some time to kind of get myself together, kind of make sure like my mom's okay and stuff like that. Make sure everything's okay. I'm in a better place now, which is good because some of the things that have been going on that I've seen in the world of professional wrestling the past 2 weeks, obviously, uh, the deaths of Terry Funk and Wyndham Rotunda, better known as Bray Wyatt, happened last week. Um, my thoughts go out to their family and friends and their peers and their and all that stuff. It goes without saying that for Terry Funk in his case, a lot of people say this, like nobody really has a bad thing to say about Terry Funk, and he was one of the most giving people in wrestling. He had no problem putting over young talent. He was a great in-ring worker. I mean, just what he did for ECW alone is just the stuff of legend. Like he's just that guy. Crossed over into movies, like he was in Over the Top with Sylvester Stallone, Patrick Swayze, and Roadhouse. Um, Stuff like that. Just a good dude from all accounts, from anyone who knew him. A wrestler's wrestler. Um, One of the best to ever do it. And in the case of Bray Wyatt, it's just sad. It's just tragic. 36 years old and he's gone well before his time. Obviously, one of the most creative minds in the history of the business to come up with the Wyatt family and the whole almost snake preacher gimmick, the swamp preacher having that gimmick, and then bringing it up and bringing in the Wyatt family with Luke Harper, the aka the late Brody Lee, John Huber, and Eric Rowan, and then bringing in Braun Strowman and bringing them in, and then kind of that all kind of fizzled out. He reinvents himself with the Firefly Funhouse, and he comes back as like this twisted Mr. Rogers with an alter ego in the Fiend, with the Tom Savini made mask and all that stuff. And then he comes back recently. He left for a little bit. He got either released or requested to release, and he was gone for a little bit. He comes back kind of doing this whole different thing with the Uncle Howdy thing and all that stuff and everything like that. And that's so much creativity from one guy to evolve his gimmick over and over and over again to do something completely different. And it's something that doesn't get he didn't get a lot of his flowers while he was still alive, but now people are kind of saying it. So obviously, in both cases, both are going to be missed. So on that note, thank you, Bray. Thank you, Terry. And you're going to be missed. We loved you. I loved both of you. Straight up. I was a Terry Funk fan back in the 80s when he was fighting Ric Flair, and they had that I Quit match with Ric Flair after the last Ricky Steamboat match, where he was a judge at ringside, and he's kind of like, oh, I'm asking for a shot. And Flair's like, dude, you've been gone forever. You got to work your way up. And he attacks Flair and pile drives him to a table. When the pile driver meant something, which I'm going to get to that in a second, because of something that happened on Dynamite on Wednesday. Um, but yeah, so rest in peace, Terry Funk. Rest in peace, Bray Wyatt. That's all that I got to say on those. On to pile drivers or moves that are pile drivers. On Dynamite, we saw a match between uh, Orange Cassidy and Penta El Zero. And there was a sequence in this match where there were three separate Canadian destroyers done. Orange Cassidy hit Penta with one, Penta came back and hit him with one, and then Orange hit him with another one. Now a lot of people have been shitting on that sequence because it ruined the Canadian Destroyer. Like, the Canadian Destroyer, when Petey Williams first did it, was like, holy shit, that guy's dead, right? And I hate to use dead in the stand in a video where I opened about my grandmother passing and the Pescatary Funk at Bray Wyatt. But you get what I'm saying. Like, it equaled match over. You're done. It's finished, right? The Canadian Destroyer has always been a, oh snap, that's it. Like, stick a fork in them. Instead, in the span of 11 seconds, you have these two fucking guys do one back to back, doing them back to back. And then another one. And then they're stumbling around like they're hurt. They're stumbling around, not even on the ground, laying down like, oh shit. Orange Cassidy has all this fucking kinetic tape all over that KT tape all over his back and shoulders, and he's all banged up already, and he's kind of stumbling around and shit, and then Penta's stumbling around and shit, and some people are like, oh, that's selling, they're selling the move right there. That's not selling a move, that's just stumbling around. Like you're dizzy. That's not selling a move. Anyway, I got into it with a couple people about this, and my whole standpoint wasn't, and it's not against Orange Cassidy, and it's not against Penta, and it's not against AEW as a company, who I will get to in a second. It's not against the wrestlers or the company. It's about how it was allowed, like, the sequence of moves itself was the problem. Like, who let them do that? Like, it's like, dude, you can't, you just created one of the most devastating wrestling moves of the past, like, 20 years, like it's a simple clothesline or a kick to the gut. So how do you finish the match? Do you, like, fucking pull out a gun and shoot the person next time? Or do they kick out at 2? Like, that's the problem with doing those types of sequences. You lessen the believability of the moves you're doing. If you have the move like the Canadian Destroyer and a guy kicks out or stumbles around after taking 2 of them, in the case of Penta, you lessen the believability of the move. So now it's like, well, why the fuck should I believe that would even hurt somebody? Like, it destroys that move. It destroys the Panama Sunrise, which is Adam Cole's, like, second rope drop down, springboarding Canadian Destroyer. It destroys that move. Because people have kicked out of that too, and it's also stupid. It's like the DDT. The DDT used to be like, holy shit, that guy's not getting back up. Or a pile driver used to be, holy shit, it's over. Like, the super kick is another move where it's like, well, the super kick is meaningless because it's done so fucking much that it used to be like you kick somebody in the fucking jaw, they're done. Now it's like you kick them in the jaw, they kind of stumble back and hit you with a clothesline. What the frick? And even the lariat, like when Stan Hansen and Bradshaw did that shit, you were done. Now, not so much. So there's that. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about, while we're on the topic of AEW, All In. Before I get into this, let me say this first and foremost. Do I believe the numbers, the attendance numbers? No, I don't. There were empty seats in that motherfucker, so I don't believe it clearly wasn't a complete sellout because all the seats weren't filled. It was pretty goddamn close. But for them to have that type of crowd for their first show in the UK, hats off to AEW. That's a fucking accomplishment. And they should be fucking proud of themselves for filling out their arena as much as they did. Point blank. They pulled off some major shit. Like I said, I don't believe the numbers that they're saying, but I do tip my hat to them for accomplishing what they accomplished because it was a big fucking deal. It was an absolutely huge deal and a huge accomplishment for AEW 4 years out of the gate as a company to pull off that show and have those numbers, that crowd, and to pull off what they pulled off. Even though the card itself wasn't the best card. And I say that because there were some matches that kind of like Kenny Omega should have been in a singles match with Takeshita, and like I didn't like the pre-show matches. I wasn't a big fan of the Hook Jack Perry match, and I wasn't a big fan of the Aussie Open MJF and Cole Better Than You Bay match. Even though I liked the ending of the match because MJF doing the kangaroo kick and them doing the double clothesline that they've been setting up forever, like setting up the double clothesline and like they're just good. Cole and MJF are good together. Like legit, they're great together and it works. The main event was fantastic. There was good stuff on the show, but it wasn't a WrestleMania level card in any way, shape, or form. It wasn't. It was good, and obviously the Punk Joe match was fantastic. I love that match. I liked the FTR Young Bucks match. I'm not a Young Bucks fan. I don't like them whatsoever, but they had a good match with FTR, and I gotta give them their respect on that. I don't understand how Eddie Kingston was one of the most over guys in the Stadium Stampede match, and he was barely seen after he came out. I don't get that. Why Orange Cassidy got the pin on Claudio, I have no idea. When the feud is between Claudio and Kingston, what the fuck was that? But it is what it is. Obviously, the big story coming out of All Out, or All In, sorry, the All Out Sunday, is the CM Punk Jack Perry incident, where apparently they got into a backstage fight, and Punk served up an ass whooping. So apparently he's 2-0 in backstage fights. Like, it's now become an annual thing in AEW where CM Punk's gonna fuck somebody up backstage. So, I guess we have the CM Punk Invitational. He said, if you got a problem with me, come tell me in my face. And people are getting in his face, and he's not fucking taking it. So, why after the All Out situation last year, anyone would push this guy's fucking buttons is beyond me, because he's pretty much made it clear that he's sick of your shit. I'm sorry. Like, he sat on his anger leading up to that All Out blow up for months. Okay? This stuff about Colt Cabana was going on for months. And whoever was putting it out there that he got Colt fired, like, they never explained who started that rumor. Tony Khan said he said it wasn't true, where he talked to whoever, but it didn't stop it because it kept going. And Punk exploded. Rightfully so, quite frankly. He was justified in blowing the fuck up. I said it then, I'll say it now. He had every right to say what he said. He just picked the really bad time to say it. And for the elite guys to go and approach him at that point, when you know this guy's fucking angry, knowing he's angry at you, you were asking for the potential of conflict. Even if you weren't going there for conflict or confrontation, if you were going there to talk to him, you don't roll up on somebody 3 deep, 3 or 4 or 5 deep, like they did having like Nakazawa and Cutler and fucking Chris Daniels with you. You don't roll up on someone to talk to him 5-on-1. If I'm in a situation where it's 5 people coming to talk to me, the first one to get in my face, I'm going to hit him, because I know that that's bullshit. Being from like the street, being from where I'm from, if 5 people are like coming at you saying they want to talk, they really don't want to talk, and you're about to get jumped. So you swing on the first one that gets in your face, and you sort the rest out later, because you may not get the chance to swing again before they swing. So you go first. Now, in the case with Jack Perry, apparently there are conflicting reports. There are reports saying that Punk went up to him and said, "You got a fucking problem." And he said, like, whatever he said, and Punk pushed him and they got into it that way. Other reports are saying that Jungle Boy shoulder checked him, and that's how the shit started. Being completely objective, and then there are reports that Jungle Boy had planned out what he said to set Punk off, where he said the whole thing about the glass on the windshield of the car in response to the incident, or not even incident. There was a situation where a couple weeks prior, Punk was asked to tell Jack Perry not to use real glass for a spot on Collision. Jack Perry got all butthurt about it. Now, for those who saw the pre-show match, Jack Perry did the spot with real glass, and he cut his fucking back up, and he cut his fucking arm. And I laughed my ass off when it happened. I'm like, that's what you get for using real glass, dumbass. Fucking idiot. That's what happens. You shouldn't have done it. But he had been told prior not to use real glass by higher ups in the company. And when he said he was going to do it anyway, Punk, at the behest of the higher ups, went to talk to him. So Punk was doing allegedly what he was asked to do by upper management, to talk to this fucking kid and talk some sense into him. And the thank you for that was for this little fucking jackass to act the fucking fool in the middle of a fucking pay-per-view at the biggest show in the company's history, to go into business for himself and say the shit that would set off Punk. So, my stance on it is this. If it's true that Jack Perry told people he was going to say what he said, he should be fired. If it is true that CM Punk was the aggressor in the altercation that happened between the two of them, he should be fired. If both are true, both people should be fired. One, you put a black eye on the company in its biggest day. That's unacceptable. If Punk was the aggressor and instigated the altercation with Perry at All In, he should be fired because this is the second time he's done this. The first time, it's a mulligan. You get a freebie for the bullshit you caused the first time. This time, it happened again less than a year later. Fuck that. You gotta go. I am a CM Punk fan. I love CM Punk. But if it's true that he started this thing it all out by approaching Jack Perry because he was mad at him about what he said, then he should be fired because he started that situation. If it's true that Jack Perry told people that he was going to do what he did, that means he premeditated this bullshit to knowing it was going to set off Punk, and he should be fired. If he shoulder checked CM Punk to kick off the fight, then Jack Perry should be fired because at that point, he's the instigator. Whoever instigated the physical altercation should be the one to get fired. If it was Jack Perry, then he's got to go. If it was Punk, he's got to go. It's as simple as that. This is not about taking sides. Both of them were fucking stupid for acting how they acted and doing what they did to having the fight in the first place. But you punish the person who instigated it. Period. That person has to go. Because of what it did to the company. It took away from the company and how what should have been a triumph for them. And it's been a whole week of nothing but CM Punk news. CM Punk this, CM Punk that. Even the stuff with him and Miro, which apparently was them joking around, where it was initially reported that they got into a fight, only to find out, oh wait, it wasn't a fight. He went up to check on Punk. Miro went to check up on Punk. And Punk was like, yeah, I'm okay, unless you have a problem with me. If so, we can take this outside. And Miro goes, how about we take it to the ring? And then they start laughing because it was clear to anybody seeing it that they were just joking with each other. Because when you're friends with somebody, you joke with them, even at the darkest moment. So, those are my thoughts on all of this stuff with the wrestling stuff. I want to close this video with a little bit of, like I said, with something personal, though. And it is about my grandmother, my mom's mom. Catherine Wooten grew up in a town called Pine Tops, North Carolina. Small town. Current population is about 1,000 people, just over 1,500 people right now. Grew up on like a plantation / farm with my great grandparents. Hardworking. She sewed. She made clothes, made her own clothes. She made clothes for other people. She made quilts. Um, the style of quilt that she makes, not a lot of people make anymore. In fact, she may be one of the last people to do it. Um, there's a YouTube video that I shared on my Facebook that I'm gonna link in the comments down below about her. Um, it's called like sharecroppers quilting, but that's the style that she did. Growing up, when I would stay over at her house when my mom was out of town, there would be she would have her basement. She would have her little sewing room and stuff like that, and you know that's where she sewed. Clothes everywhere. She had a little thing she'd bring down, like a rack that she'd bring down and all that. She had like all this stuff, and she made like shirts and stuff for us, the grandkids. She made clothes for us, like pants, hemmed our clothes if something got ripped, stuff like that from roughhousing and playing in the yard and stuff. She'd sew them up and everything. Um, she loved her stories, and that's what she called the soap operas that came on TV. She was a big fan of like Young and the Restless and The Bold and the Beautiful. Um, to this day, I still watch these soaps because of her. Yes, your boy watches soap operas because of watching them with my grandmother. And then, my mom watched them too, so watches them too. So I got them all over the place. So I still watch them. Victor Newman is the fucking man. If you know, you know. Um, so over the last couple months, she had gotten sick. She was admitted into the hospital about a month or so ago. High blood pressure and all this stuff, and one of the last times I talked to her before things took a downturn, um, she said that she was proud of all of her grandkids because we've none of us have been in and out of jail and all that stuff, and we're all good kids, and it's because of the way that she raised our parents and how like she didn't play and neither did our parents. Like my mom is like 5 foot tall and me and my brother dwarf her, and we knew not to play games with mom because she would like jack us up in a heartbeat. How she like jacked up a 6'2" cop or myself, I have no idea where that strength comes from. It must be some parent shit. I don't know, but she did it. Um, it's because my grandmother didn't play those games either. She would hem up her kids in a heartbeat. So but one of the last things that she'd said is she was very proud of the fact that we're all good and we've never been in and out of jail. She had to go visit us behind bars and all this other stuff. And it's something she took pride in. That was the last like real conversation that we had. After that, she had a stroke, which wound up being her third. Um, she hadn't been there since. I'd gone to visit her. Me and my wife had gone to see her, and like she would hold your hand and stuff like that, and she was there, but she would want to say something, but it just didn't come out right. And then it got to the point where she had to go into the hospital because she was just going downhill. It was only supposed to be for a couple days, and then she was supposed to come home. Um, that didn't happen. Last Saturday, went to see her. The next day, my mom called and she was gone. So it happened rather quickly. Um, my grandmother was like, she was like the rock of our family, and there's no other way to say it. She meant the world to all of us, and we loved her dearly. Um, One of the things that the hospice place said about her is she must have really been loved because there have been so many people here to see her. Like literally, people came in a town to see her. It was that. That's how much she meant to so many people. Like, and I've kind of been sitting back and just kind of making sure my family's okay, like my brother and my mom. So this is the first time I've really even talked about it. Like talked about it. Um, so if there's anybody that tell your people you love them every chance you get. Pick up the phone and call them. Because you never know when you never get that chance to hear their voice again. Um, I mean, even if it's only for a couple minutes, just to say hi, I'm thinking about you. Just call them and talk to them, especially if they're getting up there in years, because you never know. Um, so to everyone who reached out, um, once they found out about her passing, and there's too many people to mention here. Thank you to everyone who reached out, either texted or posted a message to my Facebook post about it, you know, or called. Thank you for reaching out. I have been passing all those well wishes to my mom, who really can use them right now. Same to my aunts and my uncle, because they're going through it right now. Like for me, it was my grandmother, but for them, it's mom. I pretty much when everything when we got to the place after we got the news, I held it together until my mom got there. And then when she broke down, that's when I lost it. And it goes the same for my aunts with my cousins. Like they were like, yeah, I held it in until my mom lost it. And that's kind of what did it for me. And, my wife lost it. And then it just, I don't even like getting emotional or stuff like that. I really don't. But like seeing my aunts and my uncle and my mom in pain, like that, it hit different in a way that I can't even describe it. Like I know that's what it's gonna feel like. I don't know if it's probably gonna be worse when my parents pass too, but I can't. I can't even put it into words, like even what I felt or what I'm feeling still about everything. I'm gonna end this by just saying this, Grandma. I know you can hear me. I love you, and thank you for being an amazing grandmother. I couldn't have asked for a better grandmother except for my dad's mom, who is still here. Um, but you were. Everyone probably says this about their grandma, that their grandma was special, but most of them don't have a video in the Smithsonian. So I think you've got them beat. And like I said, I'm gonna share the video one down below. So if y'all want to see it, you can see it. Um, I recommend looking at it just because it's special, and you get to see a little bit of a peek into my family a bit there. So with all that said, I'm gonna end this because I've gone way over and I've kind of probably been all over the place. Just kind of part of it is something I wanted to do. Other part of it's me just getting some stuff out because it's been eating away at me. Welcome to my channel. It's what I do. So, in closing, again, to everyone who reached out, thank you. You have no idea how much it was appreciated from everyone. I love you all. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and like I said, reach out to the people you love and just tell them you love them. Because you never know when you're going to get a chance to do it. You never know when you're not going to be able to do it again. Peace.